Satnam Neo-Natives. I am Avtar Simrit. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Do you want to connect to higher creativity? Well, stick around and watch this video because I'm going to discuss a few things to get you started and to start thinking about in terms of your own creativity and your journey of being an artist and a co-creator on this planet. And this will serve sort of as an introduction to more videos of this nature that are to come, diving deep into creativity and spirituality and how the two are inextricably connected. So let's jump right into it. If you want to, just right off the bat, let's go. All right. First of all, I want to shout out a really great book that I took a lot from. It's called The Artist's Way. You can see that, by Julia Cameron. So anyone who wants to dive deeper into this and have something that's really good to like get you started on this path of connecting to a higher creativity through spirituality and connecting to yourself and your own inner life, pick up this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And speaking of which, in this book, she has 10 what she calls basic principles, which I photocopied and printed out, and I hang it on my wall just to remind myself whenever I want to, refresh and look at these. So I just want to share these with you. So the first principle is, number 1, creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. I've heard people in my life before express the sentiment that not everyone can be an artist, or not everyone is creative. And I take a big issue with that. I totally disagree. I think that everyone is creative and everyone is artistic. And the second one, principle number 2, goes into this further. It says, there is an underlying indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. Number 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. Number 4, we are ourselves creations, and we, in turn, are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. Number 6, and this is the key one that ties into the point I was making earlier. The refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. So since we all come out of God's source, the ultimate creative intelligence, we are meant to continue that creative process by becoming creators, by being creators ourselves, and co-creating the world that we see around us. We are all co-creating this reality together. What reality do you want to help co-create? And that's one thing I'd challenge you to start thinking about if you haven't thought about that before in your life. What type of reality are you trying to co-create? Or are you not consciously creating the reality that you want? Think about that too. And that there are other co-creators around you that you are meant to align with and co-create the reality with. That is what it means to be a creator on this planet, to co-create with all the other creators here. And if you refuse, and the people who deny that they're creative or artistic, number 6 here says the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. So in fact, if you don't think you're creative or artistic, or you've heard other people express that sentiment, that is a refusal to recognize your true essence as a co-creator on this planet. Number 7, when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God. Good orderly direction. G-O-D. Good orderly direction. Or the flow. Number 8, as we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. You'll notice this once you start this process if you haven't already. And if you have, if you've been on a journey of higher creativity for a long time, you definitely know that that is true. All right, so number 9. It is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. This is really important too, to know that it is safe to open yourself up to greater and greater creativity. Because I know from speaking to other artists and myself included that a lot of creative people have trauma around the act of being creative. You know, especially if when they were younger, they were met with judgment, you know, negative judgment for being creative and expressing themselves in an artistic way. And so that trauma has created a sense of, you know, unsafety or, you know, danger around expressing themselves in a creative way. So if you perceive that becoming greater creative in a greater way and putting more artistic output out there, that's unsafe and you will meet with rejection and criticism because of that, then you're more likely to be blocking your own creativity and creative flow. All right, number 10. Our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move toward our divinity. That's number 10. Basic Principles from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Definitely check out this book. I'm going to take a sip of my tea real quick before we get on to a little bit more here. So once you start opening yourself up to this journey of deepening your creativity, you will notice these changes start to occur spiritually and creatively. And it's important to know, number 9, that it's safe in order to continue this process and this journey. And that that whatever you want to call God, source, the, you know, intelligence of creation, has your back, I guess you would say, and all of those creative yearnings come from a divine source, and as you move toward them, things get better. And you know, I understand some people may be afraid that certain things in their lives might disappear and drop away, and those are those things that will prove to not serve you in the long run. But you can't be afraid to let go of those things. That's key. All right, so let's get a little deeper into this, okay? This is just a little introduction for you to start thinking about. And if you enjoy this content about creativity, I'm going to be making more videos like this. And if you're new to my channel, it really helps to give me a like and a subscribe. And if you want to see more of this, and leave a comment, and I'd love to hear, other artists' discussions about this, about your experience with being an artist and connecting to spirituality and all that stuff. So yeah, like and subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, plug over. So I was teaching Kundalini yoga for a little while at a yoga studio, and I also started developing a class or a course, you would say, and I started teaching it for a little while. I'm still developing the course, and I'm going to be making videos for the course for my YouTube channel for people to enjoy and to learn. And so this course that I'm developing is called, I call it MIC, or Mike for short, Meditation, Imagination, and Creation. So the process is to meditate first, to connect to the flow from God's source, the creative flow, to release resistance and let that creative flow come through you, so that we may release some of those resistances and blocks. I hear people sometimes talk about writer's block or creative block, artistic block, whatever you want to call it. They feel like they're creatively blocked, which means that they don't feel like that flow is coming through them or can come through them. And I know there are some people who don't want to hear this, but personally, I don't believe that creative block or writer's block or artist block is a real thing. Personally, for me, I don't believe in writer's block, and I never get it. I don't think it's a real thing, and because the flow is always there, and there's always what wants to be created through you waiting there for you to connect to it. And to be honest, this is what I was saying some people don't want to hear, but if you feel like you are creatively blocked, there's no block. You are the block. So, and that's not a judgment, that's not a criticism. All I'm saying is that the flow is there, and the key is to figure out a way to loosen those blocks, meaning whatever's in your field, and in effect, you get out of the way. So basically what you're trying to do is figure out a way to remove, to get out of your own way, is one way to say it. Excuse me. And to allow that flow to come, because the flow is still coming. It never stops coming. And sometimes, and like I said, that's for everyone in their own personal journey. I can give you techniques and stuff that help with this, but getting out of your own way in order to allow that creativity to come and flow through you. And if that's something that you desire and that you want, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and I hope that some of the things that I talk about in these videos and upcoming videos will help with that. And I love to see people be inspired and becoming more creative and more artistic, and I love to see what other people can create. So anyway, going through, that was the meditation part: meditation, imagination, and creation. So imagination is, pretty much visualization exercises to strengthen your imagination. Imagination is sort of like a muscle, like any muscle, so if you want to grow your biceps, let's say, it's important to work out your muscles in order for those muscles to be healthy and grow. So if you, along the same lines, if you want to expand your imagination and your creativity so that you can bring in more of what you want artistically, creatively, whether that's writing a book, a novel, or making a painting, drawing, if you're creating a graphic novel, comic book, music, anything like that. Visualization techniques where you are exercising your imagination really help in working that muscle, that imagination muscle, in order to broaden that scope of what you can artistically create. And that's a positive thing. Okay, so that's imagination. And then creation. Creation is, the meditation and imagination are activities, processes that are internal. Those are internal spiritual activities where you connect to your own essence, your own inner self, higher self, source, God, whatever you want to call it. That's internal, because any creative output has to come from the inside out. And that flow comes from the inside out. So you start with the inner, deepening the inner with the meditation and the visualization, imagination, and then you create out of that flow. And so that breaks down the course a little bit on a basic level of meditation, imagination, creation. All right. And so the last thing I want to mention on this video, on this little introduction video about connecting to higher creativity, is this might be a little diving a little deeper than a lot of people might be willing to go, but I challenge you to think about this. You don't have to believe what I believe. That's totally fine, but it's just, planting seeds, just for something for you to think about. Anyway, so if you've heard of the concept of the Akashic Records, which in effect is a record of all things in creation, past, present, future, for eternity, in vibrational form. So it's basically, let's call it a library, an energetic library that you can access with your own consciousness that contains all of time. Because, okay, I'm not going to go down the time rabbit hole right now, but I got other videos on that. But anyway, so you can connect consciously to the Akashic Record, and since it contains all time, past, present, and future, it contains your whole, incarnation, your whole life. Whether you believe in past lives or future lives or not, doesn't matter. Even if you only believe in this one lifetime, you can still connect energetically to your, let's say, your imprint or book that's written in the Akashic Record of your life. So, if you're to create in the future a great masterpiece painting, or great, novels, or great music, right? Think about this. If all of those, already exist as vibrational data in the Akashic Record, then theoretically, through meditation or visualization or any, other techniques that, you find work for you, you can connect to the Akashic Record and see, in effect, your whole life and everything that you have created, So if you decide right now, I'm going to write that book, I'm going to write that book that I've been wanting to write for a while, and that you're going to write it, it already exists in the Akashic Record. So through meditation, you can connect to the Akashic Record and view that creation already completed. This is a form of mental time travel, I would say. So if you in effect traveled to the future with your own consciousness and saw yourself with that thing that you want to create, you can see it in your mind's eye, in your third eye, and see the whole thing completed and bring it back with you to the present. Wouldn't that unlock a whole other realm of creativity? Because you'll know that you'll never be blocked. You'll never be creatively blocked, and you'll know for a fact that what you created exists. And then you bring it back to the present and create it. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I've talked about this in a couple videos before, but I'm going to break it down a little more in videos to come. So, to try to make it easier for people to understand and give concrete techniques for this stuff. But anyway, I think I'm going to call that a wrap for this video. I don't want to give you too much all at once for the introduction. But if you stayed to the end of this and watched all of it, thank you so much. It really helps me to grow my channel and to make more content, and more content like this, creative stuff that inspires other people too, and I love to do that. So anyway, yeah, if you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, other artists that you might know that might benefit from some of this material. Share it, leave a comment, start an interesting discussion, and till the next time, be creative, be artistic, and connect to that flow. Sanam.